Hello, you amazing people, and welcome to the video. And in this video, I want to talk about what to do if you feel a bit inadequate, if you feel a bit of shame, if you even feel a bit guilty about where you are in your predicament right now with your DPDR. It is normal to feel like this can be your fault, and perhaps if you've done things a little bit differently in the past, then things would be different right now. So I'm here to sort of share some insights into why you're thinking that, and also to basically let you know that this isn't your fault at all, and how being a little bit kinder to yourself can really go a long way to sort of leap you bounds ahead when it comes to your recovery from DPDR. Feeling shame or inadequate with depersonalization. Sometimes with DPDR, you can feel shame or guilty for how things are going for you right now. It could be the guilt that you did something to cause this, such as having weed or acid just to be social, or the shame that you feel your life is stuck while your peers and friends seem to be moving forward with their lives. A lot of people feel that their DPDR comes on after taking some kind of drug. So it's only natural to think that, well, if only I hadn't taken it, then this wouldn't have happened to me right now. These feelings can compound and mix with already feeling scared and trapped and down, and your self-esteem and confidence will start to fall. Falling low self-esteem and confidence can really slow down the healing process because you start to believe that you don't have enough to get through this, or you aren't good enough, or the fact that you just keep blaming yourself over and over and over for what happened is not going to sort of give you the space to be able to move forward. None of this is your fault. It's easy to blame yourself for what happened. You'll say things like, if only I hadn't smoked weed, if I was strong enough to say no, I'd be okay now. I knew that something bad was going to happen, but I did it anyway. Once you say these things for long enough and ruminate on them, you'll start to believe them without realizing or understanding that none of this is your fault. Some important things to remember. You can't predict the future. So, if you said, oh, if only I hadn't smoked weed, maybe you could have had a really fun night. You don't know. So obviously you can't predict that that's going to happen. And you had no idea that this would happen, because if you knew it was going to happen, you wouldn't have done it. So that's not your fault either. You obviously didn't want this to happen. So of course you didn't want this to happen. Nobody wants this. So this isn't your fault. And you can't change the past. So as much as you are wishing and wanting things to be different, you can't change any of that. What's happened has happened. In other words, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Sometimes it physically takes you saying out to yourself aloud, I can't predict the future. I didn't know this was going to happen, to really start to believe it and come to terms with it. Be kinder to yourself and let yourself off. How is it serving you to keep beating yourself up about this? And it's not at all. So why are you doing it? Well, you're doing it because it's easier to be harder on yourself and lay blame rather than to be kinder to yourself and forgive yourself. If you look at this as a mistake, then you're seeing it as something that you had control over and something that you knew would happen. But obviously, we've just established that neither of those things are true. Once you come to terms with the fact that this isn't your fault, you didn't know what would happen, you did your best in the moment, it will ease the burden a bit and allow more space for recovery rather than blame. It is going to be so helpful to you if you can shift that mindset and shift that way of thinking from, this is my fault, I shouldn't have done this, if only I'd known, more to, well, I didn't know what was going to happen. If you're unsure how to begin the process of forgiving yourself and sort of not laying the blame, then you can do something which is called honoring yourself. And I don't mean by inflating your ego or putting yourself on a pedestal or anything like that. I just mean to honor the situation. So look non-judgmentally, look objectively at both the good and the bad that happened in that situation. So don't give any extra weight or praise to the good, and don't dwell in the past. So some of the things you can say are, well, everybody was having fun, everybody was smoking, so I thought I'd try it too and enjoy the fun. Another thing you can say is, well, the weed had a much more negative impact on me than I thought, but I didn't know it was going to do that. You can also say, well, in the moment when I started to freak out, I did the best I could with the information and the skills that I had. You can say, well, maybe I did give in to peer pressure a little bit, and usually I'm not like that. So all you're doing here is you're just making a list basically of the good and the bad of what happened without judging it at all. And this is going to help you sort of see it a little bit more objectively and eventually come to terms with the fact that, well, this happened and this happened and this happened. It wasn't your fault. You did the best you could. Some bad stuff happened, which has led you to where you are now, but that's not your fault. You didn't know that that was going to happen. And it's really going to open that space, and it's going to stop your mind sort of going around all those thoughts all the time, which we've already established aren't serving you at all. My friends, be kinder to yourself and let yourself off the hook. And if you do have any questions or you want to chat to me about how you can recover from your DPDR, then reach out to me. All my contacts are in the description of the video. And until next time, I will see you all in the next video. Bye.